Scotland. Actually, he's furious at older Scotland in a way that I don't feel I can be, and I'm not allowed to be. But he said, if I hear another pensioner talking about their pension when it's no under any threat, when what they should be motivated is the lives of their children and their grandchildren, whose pensions aren't worth a damn compared to them, I'll scream. That's what he said to me. Because pensioners should be looking after the next generations to come, whose pension rights have been atrophied and destroyed. I mean, who of your generation and mine is looking forward to a final salary pension scheme? Yep, our pensions aren't worth tuppence, man. And so, I think we've got to persuade people, and I think we will. I think there's a open-minded attitude towards the points you raised there. People are saying, okay, I voted no, and let's see in the course of events to come whether the no case was watertight or whether the yes campaign were actually onto something. We have got to allow that to play out, confident in our case and confident in knowledge that people are strong enough and wise enough in Scotland to change their mind if they need to be. I think when I was last on here, I talked about, I have great admiration for that quote attributed to John Maynard Keynes. In the early 1930s, he offers an economic explanation of Britain and what it was going through. But the late 1930s, he's changed his mind. And one journalist in the Financial Times said, but Mr. Keynes, this is completely different what you argued in 1933. And Keynes wisely said, yes, when the facts change, so do my opinions. Why don't yours? And I think that's what gives us greater confidence. When the facts change, we are proven to be right, we'll get a majority.
Yeah. So let the Westminster Parliament prove us right, sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they don't give a damn. They're utterly relieved. Cameron has made it clear, hasn't he, in the last 10 days, how relieved he was, nearly greeting. And the Queen was purring when she heard the noise, heard that Scotland had voted no and the rest of it. You can see the relief in them. But within 5 minutes, they'll go back to their old corrupt ways. Not giving a monkeys about us, not giving a monkey about the social inequalities in Scotland, continue to exploit our oil and other industries and our people. And they'll go back to their old ways, forgetting that was the main driver for the Yes campaign throughout. So I'm more confident now we'll have independence than I've ever been in my life. I mean, I refer to this. We're living in Scotland. It's a new country, and it's called Scotland. Independence deferred. Welcome. That's what we should talk about Edinburgh Airport when people arrive, Welcome to Scotland. Independence deferred. Because that's where we're at now. Yeah. It's independence deferred, delayed, as Burns said. It's coming yet for all that when you get 45% of the vote.
Yeah, and if that's what I was going to say. If we're starting from a base, if everyone is so motivated to start again and keep going, then we're starting from a base, between 10 and 20 points up from where we were last time we started.
Correct. The support for independence in my lifetime's never been above 35%. We get 45%. So it is coming yet for all that. And your really good point you made there about motivation. I remember being at a management school years ago, and they talked about how Avis was the second biggest car rental firm in America. And they were far more driven, the employees of Avis were far more driven to give better customer care to their customers than Hertz. Hertz were the biggest, and the Avis was better driven, better motivated. And I think the Yes campaign have showed out we are more motivated, we are more energised, we are more enthusiastic, we are more positive than the No campaign, who are almost like they're sliding down a mountainside covered in snow, fingers, as they slide down, try to hold on to the snow, right? I think all the momentum continues to be with us. And that's why, inside, I firmly believe that momentum, I feel it's the same. I compare it for me and left activists in Scotland to the times throughout the 1960s and 70s when we were campaigning against apartheid. You knew that eventually you were going to win. You knew you were going to win eventually. And it's the same sense. We have right on our side. Our case is moral and strong. We've got the momentum. We've got the authority. We've got self-determination. Is a huge prize, and it's a very inspiring thing to strive towards, So I'm as convinced about Scottish independence as I was in the 70s, 80s when I was a young political activist campaigning against apartheid in South Africa. And quite frankly, the victories I think are comparable.
Just one last wee question, because Something I'd hinted at a few times before with various people, before the referendum. Now we're after. I think it's important to ask some of these questions as well. Do you think the yes side were too fluffy?
No, I think the yes side, remember, we all built the biggest political grassroots movement this country has ever seen. It's fantastic. It was absolutely fantastic. I mean, I was interviewed by Referendum TV, I think a couple of days before the referendum, and they said, what have you thought of the campaign? I says, it's been fantastic. Brilliant. I've loved every minute. I'm the only person in Scotland who'd like to see it continue for another 2 years. And the women say, you're not serious, are you? I says, you're damn right I'm not serious. I'm knackered. I need a rest. But what we done was fantastic. You look back on it over these last 2.5 years, and it's unbelievable what we did with the rallies, the public meetings, the energy, the enthusiasm. That 97% registration, that was down to us. That 91% turnout, that was down to us. They didn't want to talk about this. They didn't want a referendum. They would rather they were talking about something else. So, I think the Yes campaign has been fantastic. I think it's been such a success. Remember, you had the SNP, who are a capitalist party, the Greens, who are an environmentalist, the SSP, who are a bold socialist party, and yet we were happy to work with one another. We were, welcomed by each other. I never felt it with Andy in the SNP in the course of the campaign. I never felt that Andy and the Greens wasn't giving us the respect that we deserved. That was fantastic. That worked wonderfully well. And I mention it, and I wouldn't want to give the impression that's the normal course of relations in politics. There's a lot of dancing around your handbag and position taking and edging people out here, and that goes on in the nature of politics normally. I thought it was brilliant. I think Scotland can be really proud of the Yes campaign, really proud of its, conduct and, okay, one egg was lost in the course of this referendum, right? I thought it was brilliant. I don't think it was fluffy, and I think it was very potent. And given what you said before about the obstacles that confronted us, we did some powerful stuff. 45% means that we're 45% up Everest. You know what I mean? We're 45% of the way to the top. Well, more than that, actually. I think when you consider that 50% is the way down when you climb Everest, right? So
Yeah.
I think what we did is fantastic. I don't think it was fluffy. I think it was modern, professional, and potent.
Thanks very much for coming on, Colin. That's been brilliant.
My pleasure, always, Michael.
So there you go, that was Colin. I think there's quite a lot to chew on in there. We've got some other guests lined up for the podcast as normal, but there's also some expansion plans on the go that's going to take a little bit of work, but hopefully we'll have some announcements to make in the near future about where the whole thing's going and what we're going to be doing with it. But that's it for this time, and as usual, the guest chooses the tune, and Colin chose this one. It should tug at the heartstrings a little bit. Speak to you next time.
I don't know if you can see the changes that have come over me in these last few days. I've been afraid that I might drift away, so I've been telling old stories, singing songs that make me think about where I came from. And that's the reason why I seem so far away today. Let me tell you that I love you, that I think about you all the time. Caledonia, you're calling me, and now I'm going home. For if I should become a stranger, know that it would make me more than sad. Caledonia's been everything I've ever had. kept on moving, proved the points that I needed proving, lost the friends that I needed losing, found others on the way. I have kissed the ladies and left them crying, stolen dreams, yes, there's no denying. I have travelled hard, sometimes with conscience flying, somewhere with the wind. Let me tell you that I love you, that I think about you all the time. Caledonia, you're calling me, and now I'm going home. For if I should become a stranger, you know that it would make me more than sad. Caledonia's been everything I've ever had. Sitting here before the fire, the empty room, the forest choir, the flames that couldn't get any higher, well, they've withered now, they've gone. But I'm steady thinking, my way is clear, and I know what I will do tomorrow. When the hands have shaken and the kisses flowed, well, I will disappear. Let me tell you that I love you, but I think about you all the time. Caledonia, you're calling me, and now I'm going home. For if I should become a stranger, you know that it would make me more than sad. Caledonia's been everything I've ever